After looking at the responses from our focus group, we noticed that the appearance of the character in our music video is a very important aspect. We decided that for the performance element of the video, the character will only have one costume. This is so that the audience can easily distinguish between the performance and the narrative without getting confused. We also decided that for the narrative, the character will be in various surroundings at various times, wearing various outfits to show all the different events of the life of the character the video is covering. We thought that the narrative has the potential for us to incorporate country music video conventions to the appearance of the character despite the song not fitting into that genre of music. This is because we think that it will be effective to explore other possibilities that weren't covered in the original music video and allows us to prove just how successful this could be. In the narrative, the character will be wearing checked shirts, leggings, boots and sunglasses if it's appropriate for the weather, and jeans coupled with more everyday items such as baggy tops and trainers. This is so that the audience can see how relaxed and casual this aspect of the video is, and it could be something that they could relate to, as they might wear that sort of clothing. In contrast, for the performance element, we've decided that the character will wear a dress of some sort with black heels to show the glamorous aspect of her personality that perhaps isn't shown in everyday life. It also creates the impression that when she's performing on stage, she becomes someone else who is completely different to her in everyday life. In terms of hair and makeup, we've decided to do everything in contrasts, so how the character appears in the narrative will be completely opposite to how she appears in performance. For the narrative, we thought the character could have hair that is either in a ponytail or in a bun to show that it's casual, and she doesn't really care much about her appearance as no one is watching her. It could also be down and wavy to show that it's just been left, as again, in everyday life the character's appearance isn't that important. This will be the same with makeup. In the narrative there will be minimal makeup, if any, to show that the character really doesn't need to make an effort. In contrast, for the performance, the character will have a full face of makeup and her hair will be elegant and glamorous to show how important it is in this part of the video that the character looks good, as it's a point where everyone will be watching her as she will be the main focus. This doesn't just make this difference easier for the audience to gain an understanding of, but it also makes it easier for us to create a divide in the video during production and clearly separates the narrative and performance elements.
From our research, it was clear that narrative and performance were two of the key elements within a pop country music video. It has become apparent that the two are often linked in some way. One of our key ideas was the idea of double identity for our narrative and performance aspect. We decided that our female character would be represented as a glamorous, successful idol within the performance with technical codes such as royal blue coloured costumes, which we hope will be decoded by the audience to be quite sophisticated and glamorous. This will be supported by our choice of settings for the performance, which will be portrayed as a stage, as though she is performing to an audience, which will again support the idea of her being a successful idol. We then decided to use the narrative aspect as our double identity, whereby the character that is perceived as glamorous within the performance is now illustrated as a rebellious youth with the portrayal of alcohol, drugs and crime. This will be shown within our music video with the use of more verbal codes such as alcohol bottles and much more expressive choices of costume. Research has shown that there is often a certain link between the narrative and performance. We conducted the idea of using tabloids with certain news stories about both the glamorous and rebellious side of our character. From this, we hope that we will be able to interlink them. For example, the glamorous character may come across a tabloid article portraying her rebellious side, and then she may have a flashback of this event, which will be portrayed as such to the target audience.
Technical code is a very important part of making a music video, and camera angles are a very important part of technical code. We wanted to show two sides of the same person with a music video. To do this, we decided to split the story into two parts, narrative and performance. We wanted to use camera angles to highlight and emphasise the change between a protagonist in these two parts. We researched examples of music videos in our genre to find camera angles that would be most effective in conveying narrative to the audience. Close-ups allow us to highlight changes we've made between the two versions, and a long shot will represent how the protagonist reacts differently to their environment. Establishing shots are a very important part of the narrative section because we explore different locations and the performance is in one location. For the same reason, 2 and 3 shots are important because it shows a different side of the protagonist from the performance where she is alone. A point of view shot will show the audience the world through the protagonist's eyes, which can be instrumental in making an emotional connection between the audience and the music video.
After carrying out a focus group on our chosen song, we've decided to aim our music video at people in the age range of 16 to 25, as we think that the themes and ideas presented in the song will affect them more than older adults, but may not be appreciated fully by younger people. Our focus group told us that they would expect to see an emotional piece that included alcohol and a group of friends, with the artist performing in dark environments. We need to create something that our target audience are interested in watching, so something more controversial may be more interesting, but we will still need to make reference to things that they can relate to attract them to watch it in the first place. Considering the fact that the artist is female, our target audience may specifically be female, as they may find it easier to reach out to and relate to what is being portrayed by the star of the music video, and therefore they may find it more emotional, and this is what our target audience said they would expect to feel. Saying this, the props that we are choosing to use are universally symbolic of rebellion, so a male audience could be equally affected by what is being shown to them. Our focus group contained both males and females, so I think it would be important not to alienate a male audience.